I am sure that you know by now that Cybertruck has rolled off the assembly line. The very first one has rolled off the assembly line, the real thing. But what about the implications? Do you know the implications? We'll get onto that in just a minute. This is Randy Kirk, and I think you know where you are. Hit the like button if you like this Saturday afternoon news. I'm the only one doing Saturday afternoon news, and then subscribe. Hit the notify button. That later this afternoon, I'm going to answer a bunch of your comments. You're going to want to be notified about that and your questions that you've asked. And I'm going to, if you want to add some new ones right now below, you could add right now, and I'll check them out before I create that one to see if I can answer some of those questions. Whatever you've got a question about. You want to know, how many kids I've got, how many grandkids? Anyway, so I will definitely answer this one question. I'm going to answer, why is X.AI a separate company? Several of you have been asking that question. All right. Oh, and of course, Patreon. Oh, yeah, good news. More and more people joining Patreon. I'm up to 70 people now. I'd love to go for 100. Would you like to be part of that effort to get to 100? Hey, good idea. I've got several original videos up. I think 3 original videos up there now, and these are evergreen videos. They will be just as important today as they were a week ago or 2 days ago when I made them. I think you'll enjoy them. Let me know. I'd love to know if these are any good or not. All right, let's get into, and the information, of course, will be below. All right, let's see here. Guess what? What happened to the NASDAQ rebalancing? Nobody else is going to talk about this, I promise you. See if you can find anybody else talking about this. Well, there was no reporting on Friday afternoon or today. I went to the NASDAQ.com website, nothing there. I looked it up on Google, nothing there. Looked on CNBC, nothing. I'm telling you, there was no rebalancing information as promised after the close of market yesterday. So we still don't know how much is Tesla going to be deprived of institutional investment money and how much are other companies going to benefit. And so going into Monday, there's still going to be this overhang unless the reporting is done before market opens on Monday morning. So don't know what's going on. I know it's supposed to take effect next Friday, and it is significant. I believe it impacted all the Magnificent Seven stocks all last week. I believe Tesla would have been up more last week, but for this uncertainty. Anyway, I'll bring anytime I find out what's going on with that NASDAQ rebalance, I will certainly report it to you. All right, so as mentioned, the first Cybertruck rolled off the new line in Austin. Farzad said that historically, this would mean 2 weeks until the prices are announced. That'd be nice, based on what happened with Y and 3, etc. And that would also mean that the system should start allowing to firm up the orders. And then if the product handovers to employees would be on track for September, which is what we've believed all along. So we're middle of July, he's saying roughly 2 months. So it'd be middle of September, it could be end of September, it could be 1st of October. Anyway, still on track for what we've all been anticipating. But the big effect, I think, is going to be Monday morning. I think that this is one of those catalysts that I think might be noticed. By the way, it got the most tweets. The picture of the gang standing around the vehicle down in Austin got the most tweets and likes, I guess, retweets, whatever, of all time. I think maybe the number one of all time. I can't remember for sure, but it was a lot. Anyway, all right. This could also be the catalyst that we need for the run up towards 300 that I've been promising you. Or that I've been speculating about or thinking might happen. So if we weren't going to get there already, this could definitely be what gets us to that 300. I've also done some more listening to the technicalists out there because I'm not one of those guys. I just have some basic ideas about where I can see resistance, both top and bottom. And so I was looking at 300, 305. Now I've seen some people that are talking about 308, 318. But everybody agrees, seems like everybody agrees that there's like one resistance point between 305 or whatever that is and 400, all-time high, and that's around 350-ish, depending on who you're talking to. So it's like a straight up. Now, do I think that's going to happen after earnings? Well, if we come in at 21% margins, yeah, maybe. Of course, I think it's 21% margins. I will be doing a video later this weekend, actually probably Monday, where I'm going to talk about how I get to 21 when so many people are talking about 19, 18, 15, and I'm at 21. I'm not the only one at 21, but I'm pretty much, I'm way out there by myself. And I'll explain why I think these guys are all going to be wrong and I'm going to be right. And who knows, my streak has to end sometime, right? All right, so I am, yeah, it's update on Thursday. If they announce the Cybertruck handover on Wednesday, that would be the thing. If we have a miss on Thursday, which is always possible, I could be completely wrong, and the street is at about 18.1 cents. I think they're at about 86 cents. No, not 86. I think lower, 82. I think they're around 82 cents on earnings. And let's say we come in at 79 or something like that, that's going to be a miss. There's no doubt about it. That will be a miss, and Tesla will be punished. I have never, having watched Tesla now for all these years, seen any case where the call after a miss would result in the stock going up the next day, that there'd be something so exciting in the call. But that could be an exception if the date for the handover was actually set. So Ben, to new news, Ben Levison in Barron's writes this: welcome to the disinflation nation. After more than 2 years of rising prices, the rate of inflation is falling and fast. The consumer price index rose just 3% in June from the prior year, its smallest increase since March 2021. It's down 6.1 percentage points in the last 12 months, marking the largest such decline since 2009, when inflation had turned to deflation. The last time the rate of CPI fell from above 9% by 6.1 percentage points was way back in May of 1952, when the index dropped 7.4 points to 1.9. Back in the 50s, when I was a mere child. All right, meanwhile, Truflation, let's get it up on the board. Truflation is reporting 2.18. I am going to share my screen here with you. Of course, you know that's always such a problem for me, but we'll get it done one way or the other. Here we go. I'm making some progress here, and it is almost there. Now let's get it to the right sharing thing, and there it is. So I want to take a couple of minutes with you on Truflation, because there was a couple of things that were very worthy of taking a good look at. So first of all, we can look at 218. The low was 217, which was yesterday. So 218 today. You can see a major drop here, but look. First of all, just look at the line. It is straight down. So when the Fed is telling us that they don't have enough data points, how can you look at that and not anticipate? How can you not extrapolate that it'll continue down? There's been a bump here. There was a bump there. There was a bump here. There was a bump over here. Lots of bumps, but ultimately it's straight down. So what does the Fed see that you can't see right now looking at this, to where they can't understand that, no, we're headed towards disinflation, we are headed towards deflation, and some of the categories are already showing that. So let's look at the categories real quick. First of all, we got food and beverages. That was one of the ones that was starting to do a little uptick. It is a major category. I think it's the number 2 or number 1 after food and beverages. One of those, I mean, food and beverages and housing are the 2 biggies. But you can see here that after it had bumped up a little bit, after being kind of flat, it's now headed down again. We can go to housing. Housing has been straight down, straight down, straight down. This is as you may know, if you follow this channel, this is a lagging indicator. The Fed acknowledges that it's a lagging indicator and is the one thing that's holding up their numbers, the CPI, the PPI, and the PCE. PCE, yes. Anyway, I'm always blowing that one. I'm sorry. But anyway, all their indicators, the only thing that's holding up those indicators from being under 2% is housing. You can see the numbers. Where do they get these numbers? They get them from Zillow and from Redfin and from Chase Schiller and these other Case Schiller, I'm sorry, and all these other reporting agencies that are looking at real-time information on the street. And you can see down here, rents are basically at 0. And housing, even consumer, residential housing, even that is flatline to slightly down. I would say there's some other information out there that would suggest it's moving up, but you pick what you want to pick. Now we can go to transport. Transport is steady, steady, steady across on the transport total, but you'll notice that when you look at vehicle purchases, that was ticking up. Now it's starting down again. When you look at gasoline, that was down, slightly ticking up, but it's way, way down. And based on oil prices, seemingly back in the middle of their area, you could guess that going forward, we're not going to see much more increase. And we're also going into the fall where home heating oil takes over and gasoline numbers start to fall anyway. So then we go to utilities. You can see utilities is straight down. Natural gas is at lows. Oil, again, trading in the middle. You can go to health, straight down. Household and daily items, straight down. I mean, just look at it. Alcohol and tobacco, slightly up, kind of a small category. Clothing, pretty much straight down, was down, up a little, now straight down again. Communications was up, now falling off a cliff. Education was going up, now falling off a cliff. I think education will continue to fall off a cliff. People are not that excited about going to university anymore. Recreation and culture was way up and now is really dramatically falling off a cliff. I'm guessing that's because, again, we're getting halfway through the season here to where now they're starting to, how much are people buying in terms of travel going into the fall? It's going to be a lot less, and seasonally, it might be less than normal. That's what this would kind of indicate. Anyway, and then others, which is the last category down here, others is kind of flat overall, but have a slight downturn. So as you can see, pretty much every category, pretty much every single category is down. Let's get out of that and go back to the general subject here. And all right, so I just don't know what they want. I don't know what they want. Here's I'm sorry, this is Elon Musk on energy. He says, I believe that we will have an electricity shortage within 2 years. Now, I think I know where the context was on this because I watched that Twitter Spaces the other day, and I believe this was with regard to the amount of electricity that all the big computer data centers are taking. They're taking massive amounts of electricity, and now the large language models, the large language models are going to take even more. The Truflations of the world, plus even his company, even Tesla, etc. All of these things are taking massive amounts of compute, and that compute takes a lot of energy. It's one of the largest consumers of energy, if not the largest sector in terms of electricity consumption. I believe he was talking about this more in the context of how there needs to be a lot of talent put into the subject of how to reduce the amount of energy that they're using in all of this silicon effort, and not so much in how much more energy is needed in order to provide it. But he's saying it could be an electricity shortage. And of course, that's good news for Tesla in terms of solar, wind, and batteries. And I think I showed you a report the other day where solar, wind, and battery are now projected to be 1/3 of all the energy that we use in the United States by the end of the decade. And I think it'll even beat that. Tesla Bull is called @BestTrader01 on Twitter. He shows that there's new 13F filings, and he says game over. He says OFI investment bought 75 million Tesla shares at $165. Price T. Rowe bought 9 million shares at $231. Bank of America bought 4.41 million shares at $205. And then he continues a big long list. You can go look him up. Again, that is @BestTrader01. Look him up, check out the entire list, but there's some indication that what his suggestion is, this is an indication that the institutions are coming back in. Now, these 13F filings, those aren't from those aren't from trades they made last Wednesday. So some of that might have come out last week because of this rebalancing that we've been talking about, but we'll see in another month whether the next round, these 13Fs, I'm not sure, are they monthly or quarterly, but maybe somebody can say in the comments below. All right, Tesla ran a full-page ad It looks like it's in a magazine handout from the Goodwood Festival, where Tesla is also manning a booth of some kind. If they've got one ad coming out now, maybe they've done this before, I don't know, but it was being thrown up on Twitter as evidence that they're starting to advertise. And so if they have one, of course, there could be lots more. The call to action was drive it for yourself. Boy, is that a good idea or not? You drive it once, you want it. Well, at least if you're a power guy like me. All right. Hello. Twitter as a product is dramatically better under Elon Musk. No, I didn't say that. That was Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know if you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is. He is, one of the greatest marketers ever. So as I noted yesterday, the Twitter move of paying for content is going to solidify what is a very large moat of very happy sports enthusiasts, news hogs, and hobbyists who are not going to be easily moved over to a new platform. So Gary Vaynerchuk, thank you very much for that. Of course, the reason I even report on this is because we don't want Twitter to be an issue for people making investments in Tesla. All right, and that change. Oh, it says here, this is a quote. The new SpaceX, rolling out their latest stock offering, at 150 billion valuation, moves SpaceX to larger than Boeing and Raytheon Technologies as the aerospace and defense franchise with the largest market cap. So Elon's auto company is now the largest market cap in the automotive industry, and now his space company is the largest of the defense franchises, beating out Boeing and Raytheon. Very, very interesting. Well, this morning I interviewed Brian White about the 10 most critical questions that he or I might ask Elon Musk if we had such a chance, and that hopefully will be asked Wednesday. You want to watch this? There's the card. Maybe it's over there, wherever it is. You want to watch this. It's just like any other kind of content that I put out, in terms of we expose stuff that we see in terms of where it's going, how it's working. And you know how smart Brian is. You want to see what Brian had to say. 10 amazing questions. I think you'll agree. And what did Brian have to say about them? Anyway, and then remember, later today, I'm answering those really interesting questions that you have put in the comments over the last couple of weeks, and also maybe those comments you might be leaving right now. So be sure to hit subscribe and notify, and then join Patreon. It's free, 7 days, absolutely free. And then if you decide to stay on board, it's only $5 a month. Buy the book, buy the book. Don't forget to buy the book. It's, as always, been fabulous, incredible. I've really enjoyed talking to you.